Hello there, my name is Richard. The first time seeing my channel, I used to review cartoon series, anime series, so something completely random, and today we're going to talk about Sea Beast, a new animated movie from Netflix. Now, automatically I have to say, should I recommend it? Maybe. It's a movie, it sure could be divisive to some people because one happened very end on the film and also a little bit in the middle. Now, how the whole story of this movie is basically what happened if you have a job hunting monsters, specifically sea monsters. What happened if someone questioned that, like, the reason why we hunting them is because to protect people, right? Yeah, that was the idea, but what if someone noticed something that's sort of off with the creatures, that they're not actually dangerous? The fact is that human people are the ones who hunting down, and the sea creatures are just defending themselves. And that's the whole idea of the whole film, questioning the things they actually do, and finding out there's sort of a conspiracy that the royalty who've kind of forced this to people to hunt creatures could be their fault. Sounds interesting, but at the same time, it's sort of not as well executed. Yeah, I think that's sort of the problem with this film. It starts very interesting. The fact you start with our main lead called Jacob. He's basically the son of the captain who basically their job is to hunt sea creatures. The only problem is his stepfather, or the captain, he became more desperate and obsessed killing one specific creature, but on top of all this, he still had pressure of the royalty people who actually fund his expedition to kill these specific creatures and telling them you are completely outdated, we should retire you and let the military taking over. But the sea captain sort of corrects them. He says, yeah, but we have the experience, we know how this creature goes, you just are just soldiers. And they sort of make a deal that's sort of competition. Whoever catches the red beast gets what they want. They get, yeah, the hunters retire, or they become what they are once again. And that's an interesting because it all rely of Jacob. He thought, oh well, I'm gonna be promoted captain after this, my life is set. Till Daisy come in. Daisy is basically an orphan child of one of the hunters who died later on in the film. She is sort of the members of the former fallen hunters, but she wanted to be also a hunter. But the only problem is she's too young. But at the same time, Daisy points out she is the same age as Jacob, which he was accepted because his family also died hunting these creatures. And that's an interesting part because Daisy really wants to join. She wants to be a hunter and points out this is a very dangerous job. You don't get to live that long. If you do, you gotta probably have traumatized about this sort of job. And Daisy won't let go because she wants to join because he did it, I can do it. But the fascinating thing is, this is the one who started noticing things about the sea creatures. They're not dangerous, not the way you think they are. They're basically defending themselves. And on top of all this, the more she keep reading, the more she noticing and questioning some the information of history of sea creatures, that where this town belongs, does this town actually exist or made up? And on top of this, all the books they have is basically from the royal crown, and just questioning why we supposed to do this, like what was the reason. And they do hinted that the royal crown are the ones basically manipulating everybody so they can get more money, more power, and that sort of self-control. But the only problem with everything I said is that it felt they're trying to build like multiple sequels now, where it's like, it really does, because they keep saying this very unique creatures that can bust through your own chest. Yeah, I know that's a reference from Aliens, but once more, how this movie does things, they show you things that doesn't really show horror. They show the actor effects, the skeleton of the people who are falling, and creatures, the crazy adrenaline battle. They actually show you death, gore, blood, but they put their point. They created this sort of fantasy that is so interesting. But at the same time, I wish they took their time. I wish they didn't show everything of this, because they're probably assuming they will not have a sequel. And I'm sort of disappointed. Sometimes you have to be reserved of your world building and reserved of the idea you're trying to do, because this movie is one of those, unfortunately, has a lot of great ideas, a lot of great execution. It's just, it doesn't land. Especially the final act was sort of preachy, and that's the problem. It was sort of too preachy, too on the nose. I understand the whole point of the movie is basically do not start a fight, or be humble with your next door neighbor. In other words, always trying to avoid something to happen, something violent, because violence becomes more violent, and that's all this. It's sort of a chain, and that's the whole point of the film. But at the same time, that idea need to be explored more instead of being told or preached. This could easily be 3 movies or 2 movies explore the world, the characters, everything, because there are some points of this movie they hinted out a lot of interesting things, like the captain was so desperate killing this creature, he made a deal about the sea witch, but if you do, there are consequences. But it sort of left it to, after they killed this giant creature or kaiju, you could see the consequences. The only problem is they never show it. It never showed the effect. You also have the problem of the people who die, and you think this is worth saving people. They have a lot of things on the table. They can continue a sequel, but I feel they showed the hand way too soon. They're trying to make a point, and I feel that's the one that sort of killed part of the movie. But still is sort of worth it. I want to say yes because it's a streaming movie. What do you expect? You expect something amazing? Or at least Netflix you kind of do, because the CGI never was disappointing, at least not this animated movie, because the animation is glorious. Something I kind of want to see in sort of IMAX because it's just so beautiful. The world, the building, the animals that you think they're adorable, and you see in the trailer they are adorable, but they also show how dangerous they really are. They actually rip your guts out, but at the same time it's sort of, if you threaten them, they threaten you sort of situation. Yeah, I like that idea. I like all the thought they got into it. It's just, it wasn't well executed. That's the problem. But once more, do I recommend it? Maybe. It's one of those that you get entertainment in the first act, the second act becomes sort of a slice of life trying to survive, and the third is just sort of a preach. Yeah, you think what I mean? It kind of works, it kind of doesn't. I leave it up to you. What do you think? You think this movie was good? I think it was okay for a streaming service. Do I recommend it? Maybe if you don't want to listen, or you don't have the time to see the whole movie, but you want to see parts of it, I recommend just watch bit by bit, or do something in the house and just leave it on. It still grabs you, but at the same time, it's just that sort of ended, sort of kind of ruins it, at least to me. But I still enjoyed the film. But that's just me. I keep saying that. I got nothing else to say. Just one question. What do you feel about it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Tell me down below. Let me know. I got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.